You fool! Warren is dead. Welcome to HorrorBabble. Today, we'll be reading a rare short by the name of Bitter Gold by the little-known author B.C. Bridges. The story, which first appeared in Weird Tales in December 1931, was described as follows. The old man and his wife needed money. A brief, grim tale of Siberia. We hope you enjoy this rarity. Bitter Gold by B.C. Bridges. The night was cold, and Ivan huddled close to the grate. He looked across the hearth to where the woman sat, who was his wife. She was not as old as Ivan, and still held her body erect, but was seldom seen to smile.
"Ivan," she said, "put more wood upon the fire."
He obeyed without speaking, but shook his head and sighed. Wood was scarce when the snow had fallen. The seasons had been unfavorable, and much of the harvest in that part of Siberia had failed. For many in the little village, there was no food. Someone was knocking at the door. The woman took up the candle and crossed the room.
"Who is there?"
she asked. "A friend," answered a voice. "Open the door."
"What do you want?"
demanded the woman. "I seek food and shelter for the night."
"We have no food. Go away."
"But I was told at the village you could give me food. A place on the floor by the fire will do for me. I have come a long way, and I am very tired. I can pay. I have gold." The woman's expression changed.
"Ah, yes, to be sure,"
she said, flinging the door wide and holding the candle low to light the step.
Come in. We are only poor folk, but you are welcome. It is very cold, but we will soon have something hot for you to drink. Do not think it strange that we were at first suspicious. There are many thieves and rogues about these days. One must be careful. Ivan,"
calling over her shoulder,
"build up the fire and put water on to boil. We have a guest. A gentleman has come to stay with us tonight."
She bustled around the room, placing food upon a rough table before the stranger, whose eyes followed her every movement. Ivan aided his wife, casting sidelong glances from time to time at their guest, who was a large man with a heavy beard. The part of his face that showed was darkly tanned, as if from long exposure to the sun, as were his hands, which seemed thick and toughened by much labor. Presently the meal was finished, and the stranger drew a leathern purse from his pocket. "Here," he said, laying coins on the table. "This will pay for what I have eaten. I will give you more in the morning." The woman took the money with many bows and words of gratitude. Turning to the man, she said in a low voice,
"Give him your bed and the thick bearskin for a cover. We must be sure he sleeps soundly."
Ivan led the stranger through a narrow doorway and returned presently. Soon the sound of heavy breathing told the listeners that their guest was asleep. The man and woman spoke in low tones. "He looks very strong," said the man. "Perhaps the first stroke would not be enough."
"It will be easy,"
said the woman.
"He sleeps on his back, and I will stand beside you with the hatchet."
"He is big, and there would be much blood."
"Oh, that is quickly cleaned up. We can put the body out in the snow, and by morning the wolves will have eaten it. We can say he arose and left very early, or that he did not come here at all. He has gold, much gold. I saw it shining in the candlelight."
"I am old and weak," protested the man. "I have not strength to strike the blow. See how my hands tremble."
"I tell you, you are a fool, Ivan,"
hissed the woman angrily.
"Here,
thrusting money in his hand.
"Take this. Go to the inn and drink. Perhaps that will give you courage. Bah!"
she added under her breath.
"All men are cowards."
He took the money without answering and left the hut. At the inn, Ivan drank several glasses of strong liquor, one after another, without stopping. "You drink for joy," said old Dmitri, the innkeeper, "because your son has returned?" Ivan stared. "My son?" "Yes," said Dmitri. "He came here and asked if you still lived, then left, speaking of some boyish plan to deceive you for a jest. I did not know him at first, for he has a great beard now, and it is many years since he went away. How well I remember him! He was a good boy, a little headstrong, perhaps, but good at heart. Many times have I carried him on my back through the forest to search for nuts. He had rosy cheeks and laughed all the time. And now he has returned with much gold. He showed it to me, all for his old father and mother. Surely your fortune is good. Ah, if I had such a son! Now I am old, and there is none to care for me. Come, Ivan, drink again, and I will drink with you." Ivan still gaped in dumb amazement. "My son?" he repeated. Suddenly, with a choking cry, he lunged for the door. The thickly fallen snow was above Ivan's knees as he plunged up the hill. He reeled unsteadily as he ran. Once he fell, cutting his hand on a sharp rock, half buried. He did not feel the hurt, but the snow showed deeply crimson. Struggling weakly to his feet, he hurried on, making noises in his throat like a wounded animal. The wind was like a strong man pushing against his chest. His lungs seemed ready to burst, and strange lights flashed before his eyes. At last, he reached the hut. Pushing open the door, he stumbled in. The woman stood by the table, wiping her hands on a dirty rag. She saw him and smiled guiltily.
"Never mind,"
she said.
"It's all done now."
If you enjoyed listening today, be sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting the red subscribe button below. After doing so, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button to receive new content notifications. If you'd like to support our work and receive exclusive perks, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below. To support us in other ways, see the video description for links to our Bandcamp and Patreon pages, our merch store over at Teespring, and further information relating to our releases on Audible, iTunes, and Spotify. And until next time,